Good morning. My name is Kelsey Clements, and I am the South Watershed intern for Mile High Flood District. I am currently attending Metropolitan State University of Denver, where I will be finishing up my bachelor's degree in civil engineering with a concentration in construction and structures in May of 2025. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce our Research and Development Director, Ms. Holly Piza, to the stage.
So someone that I trust to always give it to me straight and be honest with me told me that I should not present on safety grates anymore, that we just need to publish something. So we have 2 presentations on safety grates today. And I'm happy to share with you that we have published a few things. Maybe you noticed that email at 4 o'clock yesterday. We have a whole page on our website dedicated to this research. CSU and AECOM have finished their reports. The district has prepared a technical memorandum that summarizes the research and also the criteria that we'll put into place, hopefully, this year in culverts and bridges. So we have completed the hydraulics lab work, and one of the things that I've learned is that we really have a lot to do as far as public safety regarding pipes and culverts. If you haven't heard one of my past presentations on this topic, I'm going to give you a 2-minute summary of it. Everything we did, share the resulting criteria, and then talk about what comes next by way of education and outreach. So this will be a pretty quick presentation. But first, I want to give you just a little taste of what it feels like to go through a small circular pipe. I've shared this with some of you. There was a deputy in Pensacola, Florida, that followed a man that disappeared into a storm drain, and that deputy was wearing a body cam and also got sucked in. And if you want to hold your breath, you can, but please don't pass out. We are allowed to make jokes about this one just because both of these people survived. So it's kind of nice to know that going into it.
I'll be out with several disabled vehicles here in front of Sherman-Williams on 98.
I'm alive. again. We're staying put. I fought it for a second. Well, I mean, I saw you go down and I went after you. Yeah. Hold on. I held on. It was like, hold on. 337, Adam, take a look. Hold on, man. That's how big we can do. Let's hold on to each other. Yeah. I got you. He was over there and I was having him come across. And he goes down. And I go in after him. I got sucked in. Drain pipe right by that marker, and I went all the way underneath Highway 98 and got spit out. You will not. If it didn't happen to him too, I'm glad you're good. Thank you, man, for like being there when I come. I feel awful. I told you to come to me. I led you right into that shit. When I came out, you were right behind me. That shows like, believe me. I mean, y'all just sit tight right here. Stay in the car. Yeah, I mean. I still got the ambulance coming to check you out, okay? Oh, man. Oh, my God. You can tell them you don't need...
So I'll just tell you, point out a couple things that happened here. There's no velocity at this point. This is a location where two swales come in together and then make a 90-degree turn into a pipe. So it's just all about the suction force from the orifice. And if you held your breath, it seemed really long. This is what they went through. And it's a pretty straight shot. Maybe you envisioned it longer. I did, watching that. I had to hunt for some of these where it actually happened, because when people report on this, they never give you the information engineers want, like how big was the pipe and how long was it and all of that. But I think this is the length. You know, if there's more length here, you might start to lose something. Okay, so here is the 2-minute recap. So several years ago, the father of a boy who lost his life in a culvert contacted the district and wanted to talk about design. That spurred review of everything that was available on deaths and injuries related to pipes and culverts. We found countless cases where people had been sucked into pipes that did not have safety grates. We found other cases where some kind of grate was installed, but someone could not free themselves, could not self-rescue or break free in time. These are all very heartbreaking stories. Most of the victims are children drawn to the water for play. Others are first responders attempting to rescue someone that made a bad decision and was stranded. We wanted to develop criteria for when these grates should be installed and how to design them. We partnered with CSU Hydraulics Lab, the Larimer County Dive Rescue Team, and AECOM. We constructed grates to various configurations and put them in the flume at CSU. Larimer County divers got in the flume and crawled all over them, giving us qualitative feedback on what it felt like. At one point, they convinced me to get in the flume. From the divers, we found a configuration and flow and ultimately a force, a threshold force at which we believe it becomes difficult to self-rescue. This is what we needed from the physical model. AECOM used 3D CFD modeling to evaluate several different configurations and find the point at which a body experienced the threshold force for each one. So from that, we focused primarily on 3 specific configurations. The first being, at what point do you need a grate, or when is it okay to leave the pipe open? The second configuration was a flared end section with an off-the-shelf grate. And the third configuration was about, when do we need a custom grate and how should we design it? You can always just put together your 3D model, if you have one, right? And use this 110 pounds of force threshold. That's valid at any discharge. You typically don't have a 3D model, right, for your 18-inch culvert. So we knew we needed to also find a parameter that was more available to engineers, and we found something, and while it's not a perfect replacement for force, it's something you should have on every culvert design, and that is the headwater over depth, or headwater depth over diameter, the ratio of headwater to diameter. So in the criteria, there are additional requirements for inlets when this exceeds 1.5. You need to protect the inlet, a concrete head wall. You're concerned at that point about piping failure when you have a lot of depth on the culvert. This is also where it gets really dangerous for people that are near and potentially getting sucked in. And when we looked at this ratio, there were certain instances where it came into play on this research, and we found that 1.5 was actually a good breaking point for safety grate design as well. So here are the results, and again, these are included in that technical memorandum on our website. If you are within that 1.5 HW over D, there are instances where you can leave the pipe open. We say 1 to 20 CFS. In typical designs, it's going to be closer to a maximum of 10 CFS with the headwater over diameter. And then there's a point at which you can use that off-the-shelf safety grate, or debris grate is what most manufacturers call it, and that's up to 100 CFS. And then anytime you're exceeding 1.5 or you're exceeding 100 CFS, that's when the custom grate comes in, and we've defined what that is. All right, so now what? It's one thing to go forward with new criteria and make sure pipes that should be covered are covered, but what about all the existing grates? Brick Zivkovic at our office has done some really great work developing opportunities for community science. And we are pretty regularly asked to go into schools and talk about engineering, and more they want to really engage the kids in work. So we worked with DSST in Denver, and they actually put together a form that you can use to report potential unsafe culvert openings, pipe openings. This is one of the things on that website page that we sent out yesterday at 4. You can get in there and you can report pipe openings, and as we are invited back into schools, we use this to share this information on. Because part of the problem is not just that the pipe is uncovered, but it's that public outreach, and that message to never walk or drive into floodwater is one that we should all be sharing with the public in some way. So, other than that, we hope that you will use this, or local governments collect this data in some other way. It's really not typical for local governments to have this as part of their GIS attributes. And next year, we're planning a program where the district will provide some financial assistance to install safety grates on existing culverts. So more on that in a few months. And then lastly, we'll be participating in an update for EWRI's book on public safety guidance for urban stormwater facilities. This is an effort that John Jones at Right Water Engineering is leading. I know that one of the next questions is about what about the big box culverts? I mentioned that limitation on the 300 CFS for that custom grate. And we're going to talk about that in the next presentation, so thank you.